We've got to celebrate our differences. We've got to celebrate our differences.
Ooga booga doo, ooga booga doo.
We've got to celebrate our differences.
那就大过紧张了。
Cause it's beautiful when the whole world sings together as one.
What was your reaction on the video that I just showed you? Have you been able to stand it, or did you actually have to skip to this part because it was unbearable? Or have you been laughing the whole time because you enjoyed the sense of humor right there? This video meme generalizing the appearance and the languages of different nations based on oversimplified stereotypes have been followed by many arguments on social media. Some content creators mentions that this specific video has been live streamed on TV commercials, but majority of the people did not believe them because they thought this specific video is never be accepted to be streamed on televisions. Why do they think that? Well, the reason is the video can be disrespectful and insulting for some nationality groups. Racism. Prejudicial thinking such as racism can occur when a person has biased position towards someone's age, gender, physical features, sexuality, religion, so many more. The technical definition for prejudice is bias thought based on flawed assumption about a group of people. This way of thinking is led by our cognitive thinking biases. Understanding the role of biases can contribute to a better condition for societal issues that have been persistent for centuries. All of the cognitive biases contribute to prejudice thinking by distorting the way of people perceive and evaluate information about different racial or ethnic groups. So, let's look at the biases individually. First one, anchoring bias. It occurs when people rely too heavily on the first piece of information they encounter when making decisions. In the context of racism, this bias can lead to prejudiced thinking when individuals anchor their opinions on stereotypes and biased beliefs. For example, if someone grows up in an environment where they hear stereotypes about particular racial or ethnic group, their opinions can become anchored to these stereotypes, likely to be making it challenging for them to see beyond the situation. Second one, confirmation bias. It is the tendency to seek and interpret information in a way that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs. For example, someone who believes a specific racial or ethnic group is prone to criminal behavior might selectively focus on news or stories that reinforce this view, confirming their prejudice. Another example is, if you think that your friend is not very nice, you notice all the bad behaviors that seem to be confirming your assumption exhibited by your friend, while ignoring the countless pleasant interactions he or she is involved in on a daily basis. Third, the representative bias involves making judgments about a group based on an individual's characteristics or behavior. In the case of racism, people may judge an entire racial or ethnic group based on the actions of a few individuals. This can lead to a faulty way of thinking in which you unintentionally stereotype someone or something. My personal experience relating to this thinking bias is, as a former exchange student in the United States, we were expected to be on our best behaviors as soon as we get there, in order to avoid any faulty representations that the people might observe about our countries. This is a very important mindset to have when you're on a cultural exchange or maybe even traveling to another countries, because it is possible that you are the only or the first person that is from your own nationality or ethnic groups in that specific community that you are going to be involved in. Fourth, recency bias refers to the tendency to give greater importance to recent events or information, often at the expense of a historical context or long-term trends. In the context of racism, recency bias can lead to prejudiced thinking by highlighting negative incidents involving a particular racial or ethnic group while ignoring their positive contributions of historical context. People's perceptions may disproportionately focus only on the incident of crime or violence involving the members of a specific group. It may affect their perceptions. Last but not least, the availability heuristic. It is the mental shortcut where individuals judge the likelihood of an event based on how easily they can recall a similar experience or an instance from their memories. If something comes to mind easily, it is considered more likely to occur. This is a process of our brain shortcutting into our memories and highlighting somewhat familiar or similar incidents that had happened in our past experiences. Biases tend to preserve that which it had already established, to maintain our pre-existing knowledge, beliefs, attitudes, and hypotheses. Aronson, 1995. There are so many root causes for cognitive biases. The common causes include limits on the mind's attention and the mental shortcuts, which we call heuristics, and the individual motivations, as well as social pressure and emotions. Now we have become familiar with the cognitive biases and the types of different biases. It is time to talk about how to overcome prejudicial thinking. To combat prejudicial thinking, it is important for us to engage self-critic and careful thinking. Individuals can challenge their own biases by actively seeking out diverse perspectives, questioning their beliefs, and examining the evidences objectively. Developing empathy by trying to understand the experiences of people from different backgrounds can also help manage cognitive biases. In addition to that, education and open dialogues can help us get rid of racism or any type of prejudicial thinking. By learning or by getting more educated about history and cultures of different racial groups, people can overcome anchoring biases and representative biases. Encouraging open conversation about race and prejudice can help individuals recognize and address their cognitive biases, fostering more inclusive society. To conclude everything, these cognitive thinking biases can lead to prejudice thinking like racism by shaping persons' perceptions and judgments based on limited, biased, or clouded informations. The biases reinforce stereotypes and negative beliefs, making it difficult for individuals to see others as unique individuals rather than representatives of a particular group. Understanding these biases and their implications is an important step towards fighting racism. Recognizing these biases and actively working to counteract them is essential in promoting and understanding equity. Thank you so much for watching and hope you have a great fall break.